goes up, oops, get the right one up there. Okay. If this goes up, the two options I have, one is a put option down here somewhere. Well, this gives me the right to sell this down here when the stock or levered ETF in this case is here. And here I'll just put in a line so we can kind of track it. Let's say, just for argument's sake, doing this from memory, I can't remember, but okay, so it's here, and this is where my put is struck, and this is where my call is struck. So I buy it, say, around here. As this starts to go up, the value of a ticket, a contract, a put option that allows me to sell this at 55 is not worth as much if the price is further from 55. That's the key. Down here, 55, the ability to sell at 55 a few months from now, pretty high value because there's a better chance it will. But the probability of a $66 security dropping to 55 over the next several months versus something selling for 57 or 56, big difference. That's why the put option loses value as this is going up, okay? And I would say that is a direct direct counter, okay? I spent money on it, and that money is, kind of going towards zero if this thing spikes. So the idea, of course, is that I'm going to make a lot more money on holding 100 shares of TQQQ than I will lose on one put contract on TQQQ. All right. Now, the last part is a little more complicated, but not much. Sell a covered call up here to complete the collar. Buy a put, sell a call. This gives me the right, up to me. I mean, it's not worth anything now at expiration, okay? But I could sell it at 55. Well, what if it goes all the way up to 75? Well, at that point, I could be forced to sell it. Forced to sell it. Forced to sell it at a giant gain. Fine by me. I can buy more or whatever. I'll reevaluate it. I'll look at where the chart is at that point, okay? I know we're going to get some of these pretty soon. I think we've had a little bit of this, but we haven't had like a true one where it really just, goes. I mean, I think PDD for a very brief period of time, but it was way too early. Okay, the closer you get to expiration, I think the better it is to do this. So here, you can be forced to sell at 75. All right. But by doing that, I took in some money. They pay here, you pay here, they pay you. So I've already brought in some money. Let's call it, I don't know, $2 a share. Okay. Well, I got that $2 a share, but as this goes up, the other side of that, to be able to buy this at 75 when it could zoom up to here, becomes more valuable. But effectively, I'm not short the stock, but I am short a call option of which I own the stock underneath. That is the definition of a covered call option. You've heard of covered call writing. You've heard of the ETFs that have way too much money in them when you can build one yourself, just like I'm describing to you. Probably be writing about that soon as Seeking Alpha. If you're building one of these on your own and you're up to, $75 in the price of TQQQ, well, now at that point, there's a better chance you're going to get called away. Well, let's say I brought in the proverbial $2 to get this, okay? And I brought in the $2, so I got that in my pocket. If I get sold out at 75, okay, what's going to happen to the call? It just goes away. It just goes away. So as I see it, if you're losing money on the puts, okay. If you're losing money, I'm sorry, you're not, if this, is going down in value, it's technically the option is going up in value, but you are short the option. Let me say that again. This is going up in value, and a call option, think of it this way, call option goes up in value with the stock, put option goes up in value when the stock goes down. Okay. So the value basically is like, I'm minus $2. I received $2. I'm in the clubhouse after 18 holes at $2. But then all of a sudden it starts to go to here. Worst thing that can happen is I'm keeping my $2 and I'm going to get forced to sell the stock at 75 if it's above that at expiration. Might be earlier, but usually at expiration. So think of it this way. If I didn't even forget about the put options, because we talked about that. If the stock goes way down to here, I can still sell it here. That's good. If the stock goes up to here and stays in between, as long as I didn't pay a ridiculous amount for the option pairing, paid a lot for this, only brought in a little bit for this, still pretty good. I can redo it again at expiration. But the one time where I say you have to do a little bit more work, I say that's like the biggest downside I see in this. You have to do a little more work. If the price moves a lot, especially in a short amount of time and far from expiration, you now have to say, all right, what I want to do, I'm probably going to get called. I can just sit there and let myself get called. And effectively, again, forget that we did the put option in this case, okay? I bought it here. I have a covered call option here. This is the more common way that people do it, but of course they have all the downside. You get 75, you've already gotten $2 in your pocket. Good, let them call me away at 75. I've just sold the stock at 77 when I bought it at, like 60. And anytime I want, I can buy more stock. And sometimes in anticipation of this, you will see me might buy a little more stock, maybe uncovered. If I owned 100 shares, maybe I buy 20 more shares just to have a little bit more upside, So think of it, every one of these is almost like their own little project. Every collar, really every position is its own project. And when that project is doing well, I don't just let it go. I still want to manage the product to the project to the extent that it needs managing. And so like if you see negative here, okay, it would say -2 the moment I got the $2 when the stock's down here. But as you get up toward here, depending on how much time is left to expiration, maybe the -2 becomes -3, -4. Let's say it's -5 now. I'm down $3 basically on the call. Am I? I received $2. It's kind of worth -$5, but so what? The stock has also gone up 1 for 1. So I'm not, in other words, I never have to do anything. What happens at expiration? Let's say that the stock ends up at 76. Okay. At 76 at expiration, what's going to happen? I'm going to be forced to sell at 75. I keep my $2 in this example, and I lose the money on the puts. Let's say it was zero cost collar, as we say. I paid $2 for this protection, and I received $2 for giving up this upside. If the stock goes up to here, 76, well, this is done. This is done. I paid $2. I received $2 to lock myself into this range for this period of time. So that all kind of goes away. And all I've done is I've sold the stock at 75 that I bought for, let's say, 60. And so I wouldn't say ignore it, but hopefully now this helps everybody understand why you're seeing those. And I'm happy to do a written example. I can put it in the blog. I can, whatever. If there's anything else I can do to help drive this point home. But to summarize, the put option, I would say, has some value if the stock goes down, okay? Or if it goes up, I might get rid of it. But the call option, unless I'm really trying to avoid getting called, or if it's zooms up before expiration, I'm probably not touching the call. But again, it all has to do with the stock. All has to do with size. And I look at the three of them as a unit.